We assume typing a problem into a search bar naturally surfaces the best solution. But search engines aren't meritocracies, they're auction houses. Showing up on the first page of results does not mean a product is the most useful or the most efficient. It simply means the company behind it has millions of dollars to spend on customer acquisition. This exact financial model actively buries brilliant, completely free developer tools. A clean, zero-cost utility built by a single programmer in their spare time is competing directly against venture-backed enterprise software designed specifically to lock you into a monthly subscription. If you want to solve actual digital roadblocks without reaching for your wallet, you have to stop trusting standard search habits. You have to actively hunt for the tools that never advertise. Today, we are looking at 6 specific tools that quietly survive outside that system. These aren't sketchy workarounds or pirated software. They are completely legal, vetted utilities that most people simply do not know exist. But using them requires a specific compromise. You are trading away financial cost, and in return, you are accepting minor workflow friction and adaptation. To understand if that trade makes sense for you, we are going to map common digital frustrations to the exact tools built to solve them. This chart plots standard software. Gray dots represent high visibility, lower utility. We're focusing on these 6 blue dots, hidden in the low visibility, high utility corner. Recognizing this gap stops you from paying for redundant digital subscriptions. Experiencing a frictionless internet does not require paying every digital toll booth you encounter. It requires keeping the exact right tool ready for the specific roadblock in front of you. We will start with our first user profile, the financial optimizer. If your primary roadblock is a bloated credit card statement full of expensive software and media subscriptions, this is where you live. Look at this comparison matrix. For expensive software, a site called Alternative 2 changes the math entirely. You type in the name of the premium app you're paying for, and it generates a ranked, crowdsourced list of free replacements. The matrix shows exactly what you're trading. You save hundreds of dollars a year, but you give up priority customer support, and you have to force yourself through a steeper learning curve to master a brand new interface. For media, that friction looks different. If you were exhausted by checking 5 streaming apps just to find one movie, Just Watch solves the problem in 2 seconds. You search a single title, and it instantly shows you exactly where it is cheapest to rent, or which platform already includes it in your current subscriptions. Relying on these optimization tools forces a hard look at your actual habits. You quickly realize how much cash you lose every month purely for ecosystem convenience and fragmented subscription models. That same financial optimizer faces another daily annoyance. Someone shares a news link in a group chat. You click it, and a soft paywall immediately blocks the text. A tool called 12feet.io exists to strip away those superficial layers. You paste the URL into their search bar, and it renders the full text without demanding a monthly commitment for the single article you actually wanted to read. There is a strict technical limitation here. 12feet.io bypasses cosmetic blocks, but it frequently fails against hard paywalls built with server-side authentication. The true cost of accessing free journalism this way is unreliability. You save the subscription fee, but you accept the manual friction of copying and pasting URLs, instead of seamlessly clicking through the links your friends send you. Now we shift to the second profile, the independent researcher. Here, the roadblocks are locked academic data and web history that has been quietly deleted. Let's look at this new matrix mapping out access. Unpaywall operates in the background as a browser extension. Every time you hit a locked academic journal, it automatically searches for a legal, author-authorized copy sitting in a university archive somewhere else, routing you straight to the free version. Notice the reliance row. Unpaywall only succeeds if an institutional repository copy actually exists. It works beautifully for academic papers, but it is completely useless for bypassing commercial journalism paywalls. When research demands looking backward, the Internet Archive's Wayback Machine provides an objective, time-stamped ledger. It has archived billions of public Internet snapshots since the 90s, letting you prove exactly what deleted or altered web pages used to say before a company tried to scrub them. Democratized research tools trade sleek interface polish for raw investigative power. You have to endure slower load times and bare-bones design, but in exchange, you gain unfiltered, independent access to the truth. A final source of friction affects almost anyone trying to read classic literature online. Most free public domain ebooks have frequent scanning errors, distracting, ugly layouts, and broken navigation links. Standard ebooks solves this directly. Their experts take those legal classics and manually rebuilt them from scratch. They professionally typeset the text, fix the formatting, and attach clean covers so the files look identical to something you would buy at full retail price. The obvious constraint is that this high-quality library is completely restricted to works that have officially aged into the public domain. You will not find contemporary bestsellers here. But it proves a larger point. You never have to accept a poor user experience just because a file is free, provided you know exactly which curators are putting in the hidden work. This brings us to a final scorecard. The real price of a free internet is not always the loss of your privacy. Frequently, the cost is just a slight temporary increase in manual effort. For the budget cutter, Alternative 2 and Just Watch require you to trade an afternoon of learning new software and searching platforms, directly resulting in immediate cash retention. For the student or analyst, Unpaywall and the Wayback Machine act as mandatory workflow equalizers. They level the playing field against well-funded institutions that can afford premium data subscriptions. And for the reader, Standard eBooks serves as a lasting reminder that high-quality professional formatting exists entirely outside of paid storefronts. Stop fighting the rigged search engine battle. Instead of clicking the first sponsored result and reaching for your wallet, proactively adopt the specific, unadvertised tools built to cure your exact daily friction points. Open your laptop to write, design, or learn, and you will almost immediately hit a toll gate. Monthly fees for software, subscriptions for cloud storage, and tuition for online courses. By the time you gather the basic tools to start a project or study a new field, you are staring down hundreds of dollars in recurring costs before you have even typed your first word. A parallel internet of open-source archives and browser-based tools operates in the background of these paywalls, accessible to anyone who knows where to look. This diagram illustrates a framework called the Input-Compute-Output Stack. It breaks down any digital project into 3 distinct stages: acquiring raw information, processing that data, and producing a polished final product. This specific workflow routes around download bars, system requirements, and user accounts. Every step runs natively inside a standard web browser, providing a professional workspace without a financial investment. The process starts at the input phase. Before you can build a project, you need to acquire raw materials like books, manuals, and foundational knowledge. For literature and text, Project Gutenberg serves as the foundational archives. It hosts over 70,000 public domain books, available to download in any format. Because the site has been active longer than most modern platforms, its catalog depth includes obscure classics that newer libraries lack. If a text's copyright has expired, it is likely sitting in this database, ready to download in under a minute. This comparison shows how a regular search engine functions, leaving you digging through fragmented links. PDF Drive indexes thousands of scattered documents into one central searchable location, surfacing specific study guides and technical manuals immediately. If your inputs require BIDE's instruction, Open Culture curates recorded lectures from elite universities, alongside audiobooks and language lessons, centralizing resources that usually require a formal enrollment. Combining a Gutenberg library, technical manuals from PDF Drive, and recorded lectures via Open Culture allows you to construct a comprehensive university-level curriculum from your desk. Once you gather your raw inputs, you reach the compute phase. Having information is only the first step. You need a way to process, calculate, and understand it. Look at this schematic comparing 2 different query systems. A regular search engine points you to websites that might hold your answer. Wolfram Alpha is a computational knowledge engine, meaning it takes your raw data, performs the calculations itself, and outputs a direct result. Feed it an advanced calculus equation or a complex chemistry problem, and it generates the exact sequence of logical steps required to reach the solution. This process applies across dozens of disciplines. Evaluate a physics formula, resolve a statistics query, or run real-world data comparisons, and the engine calculates a concrete response. For a student stuck on a late-night homework assignment, this capability identifies the specific step where a calculation went wrong, rather than just marking the final answer as incorrect. With the data processed, we enter the final stage, the output phase. This is where you package your work into deliverable professional assets. This interface belongs to Photopea. It is a full-featured image editor, capable of opening complex, layered PSD design files, complete with masking tools running entirely inside a browser tab. Running software this robust directly over the web removes the need for local installations. If you only need to edit a poster or touch up a photo a few times a year, this interface covers your needs without a monthly fee. When that design file gets too large to email, Squish uses in-browser algorithms to compress the image file size without degrading the visual quality. Using Photopea to build the asset and Squish to optimize it, you can execute a technical design pipeline and export the results from an ordinary web browser. With this stack, an ordinary web browser manages the entire lifecycle of a project, from solving calculus equations to rendering professional graphics. The internet remains an open, democratic platform for those who choose to step away from the heavily marketed software ecosystems. These utilities have been operating and refining their codebases for years, often unnoticed, while millions of people continue paying for the same capabilities elsewhere. Integrating these 6 tools into your workflow removes the financial barrier to entry, leaving you with a professional-grade workstation that requires no monthly payment. Today, we're uncovering a curated list of seriously powerful, free digital shortcuts that are sitting right under our noses. But we're also going to expose the invisible financial war happening on search engines, the one that's actively keeping these incredible resources buried. So, let's dive right in. It's a pretty fascinating premise, right? Think about the software you pay for every single month. What if I told you there are free, fully functional alternatives that you just can't find easily? We're going to explore exactly why the tools you actually need are hidden from you, starting with how we can instantly and freely upgrade our visual assets. Section 1. Design Hacks and Visual Magic. These tools literally replace hours of tedious manual editing with seconds of automated magic. You know the old way? Buying an expensive software license, spending a crazy amount of time carefully masking out backgrounds by hand, or setting up physical green screens. Well, the new way is free, runs right in your browser, and takes, maybe 5 seconds? Expertise that used to cost a total premium now requires absolutely zero technical skill. Let's actually build out your toolkit here. First up, remove.bg. You just upload a photo, and in seconds, it completely strips away the background. It replaces a genuinely awful manual process. Then there's cleanup.pictures. Did some random stranger completely photobomb your perfect vacation shot? Just brush over them, and the AI intelligently reconstructs the background to erase them like they were never there. Finally, Unscreen takes this exact concept to video. It removes the background frame by frame so you can ditch that physical green screen for good. Moving on to Section 2, Upgrading Your Digital Strategy. Look, if you're a developer, designer, or really any kind of creator, presentation is literally everything. There's just no excuse left for sharing rough, unstyled work. Tools like Carbon and Ray.so take plain, ugly raw code and instantly render it into a beautifully styled image with proper syntax highlighting. And if you're showcasing a website or app design, Shots.so and Smart Mockups will place your flat screenshots realistically into a sleek phone frame or laptop screen. And the best part? You do all of this without needing a paid subscription or even opening a single design program. Section 3. Essential Security Basics. Number 20 on our overall list of hidden tools, and honestly, arguably the most important site on the internet today, is Have I Been Pwned? You type in your email address, and in literally seconds, it checks it against billions of compromised records to tell you if you've been exposed in a known data breach. The really uncomfortable truth here, most people have already been exposed in a breach from some random company they completely forgot existed. Now, the crucial point is this. If your email actually shows up, the site doesn't fix it for you. You have to take action. You need to immediately execute 2 steps. First, change the compromised password right away, especially if you've reused it on other sites, which, let's be real, a lot of us do. Second, turn on 2-factor authentication for that account. It is the absolute fastest way to protect your digital life, and checking it takes less time than it just took me to explain it. Section 4. Why are they hidden? So you might be thinking, if all these tools, from the incredible design shortcuts to the vital security checks, are legal, highly functional, and totally free, why doesn't a search engine just serve them up when you actually need them? I promise you, it's not some grand shadowy conspiracy. It really just comes down to the brutal economics of advertising. See, free independent tools built by solo developers or small teams are quietly losing a massive financial battle. They're going head-to-head against huge companies spending real money to rank first for the exact same search terms. Because they don't have massive corporate SEO budgets, these free tools just get pushed down to the bottom. That's exactly why these shortcuts really only survive through slower word of mouth on developer forums, productivity subreddits, and those small corners of social media where people just trade genuinely useful finds without any financial incentives. Section 5. The limits of free tools. It's important to note that treating free tools as absolute magic bullets can be a bit risky for your workflow. We really have to look at the reality of scale here. While solo creators or small businesses may literally never notice the gap and can totally thrive on them, large studios running mission-critical workflows might genuinely need the advanced features, the stability, and the dedicated support that you only get from paid enterprise software. Free tools aren't always a perfect one-to-one replacement when you're operating at a serious commercial scale. And that brings us to the golden rule of the hidden internet. Free doesn't always mean permanent. Small, independently run tools can get acquired, shut down entirely, or, and this happens a lot, quietly change their pricing models overnight in a way that massive companies rarely do. You should absolutely build these tools into your workflow, but always keep a mental backup plan in mind for anything you'd genuinely be stuck without. Section 6. 3 must-have bookmarks. Alright, if you only walk away with 3 things from this entire explainer, these are the ones you need to bookmark immediately. They give you incredible lasting leverage. Have I Been Pawned protects your personal data from invisible leaks. Photopea quietly replaces an expensive professional design software subscription that, frankly, most people just don't need to be paying for. And the Wayback Machine grants you the incredibly rare and valuable power to see what the internet looked like before it was edited, deleted, or quietly rewritten. I absolutely love this quote because it sums things up perfectly. Nearly every website we've discussed solves a problem that a well-funded company has built a very expensive paid product around. What these independent sites have in common is that their creators simply believe core functions shouldn't cost money. They're out there to find the expensive subscription models that completely dominate our habitual search results. They aren't actually hidden. They're really just waiting for you to type their address into a browser instead of automatically reaching for your wallet. So bookmark the tools that actually apply to your life and workflow. But before you do anything else today, I want to leave you with this. Have you checked your email for data breaches yet today? Go to Have I Been Pwned, check your email, and take back control of your digital footprint. Stop paying for things you can get for free and always stay curious.